NC Impact is made possible by funding from Civic Federal Credit Union and is a Public Media North Carolina production in association with the University of North Carolina School of Government.
North Carolina is growing daily, and some of our new neighbors are coming from all over the world. One town has a plan to create a welcoming environment. This is NC Impact. I'm Anita Brown Graham. There are almost 1 million people of Hispanic descent living here in North Carolina. Sanford, North Carolina's Hispanic population is at nearly 25%. Many people have come together with a plan that help immigrants integrate into the fabric of that community. NC Impact's David Hurst shows us how.
In Sanford, North Carolina, many who live here say they're a community of builders. For the Ortega family, they moved here hoping to build a better future for their children.
Bueno, pues yo soy mexicano. A los 15 años me vine a Estados Unidos. Nos movimos para acá en el año 91.
When the Ortegas moved to Sanford, there were only 2 tiny Hispanic stores and a small immigrant community.
Estaba muy solitario y me sentía sola.
Pues mi reto fue de acostumbrarme a vivir aquí, sí, pero una de las cosas que me sorprendió, me gustó mucho aquí por lo pacífico que era este lugar, y pensé que era un buen lugar para que crecieran mis hijos, que crecieran aquí en este lugar.
Ella Pantaleon also moved her family to the United States in the 1990s to escape the danger they faced in Mexico.
It's not even the money, it's how safe you feel here. You can have your jewelry, you can have a car, and you're not scared of people. And over there in Mexico, you drive a car and they kill you for nothing. So now it's very hard to live in Mexico. I still have family over there, and I don't know how they do it. They live with terror.
Pantaleon originally lived in Los Angeles, but she visited her mom and dad in Sanford and says the small town helped cure her homesickness.
I want to speak my language. I want to eat my food. I want to stay with my family. I want to see them, but it's not worth it. My safety and my family's safety is first, and over here I feel safety. I feel safe.
For Luis Salaveria, he moved to Sanford with his family from El Salvador to escape the violence of his country's civil war.
My father, he came here, he was a political refugee. He had actually been taken out of the house once, and they were going to assassinate him outside of the house. And that just led up to saying, hey, you know what, I can't, my life is in danger. I can't stay here, I'll have to leave. And that's part of why he ended up coming.
While many moved to Sanford for safety, others moved for economic opportunity. Over time, manufacturing companies opened facilities in Sanford. The immigration population began to grow as many moved to the area to find work. Now, nearly 1 out of every 4 Sanford residents are Hispanic or Latino. Sanford is one of several North Carolina communities to implement a Building Integrated Communities Plan. The process is meant to equip local governments to help them integrate transitioning immigrants to their communities.
As we began to grow, we recognized that we had sort of an issue, a problem that we needed to address better in trying to integrate the Latino community into the more general population. So we applied for a grant through the UNC School of Government, and it was very competitive, but we were fortunate enough to win it. And so that grant produced a 3-year study that allowed us to really investigate and really penetrate the Latino community, the heritage, and start breaking down the barriers and obstacles to integration.
That study highlighted 4 challenges specific to Sanford: civic leadership, communications, police relationships, and public transportation. City leaders then came up with solutions to these challenges.
It's had a measurable impact in the schools. where our teachers and our parents and our Latino parents are learning that to engage more in the school process rather than disengage in the past.
As an immigrant, it's very meaningful to see local governments attempting to reach out to individuals born abroad, trying to connect with them and learn more about the challenges that they face.
Okay, and the user role, would it be a product
Many
user?
Hispanics and Latinos in Sanford have taken advantage of these resources and started their own businesses. They now find themselves ingrained in this community of builders as they build their own business and help build a more inclusive community.
La comunidad ha crecido mucho y ahora tengo más, también tengo más acceso con las personas, pero también lo veía para el crecimiento de mis hijos que era un lugar aquí más mejor para ellos.
Aquí en esta comunidad nos hemos sentido muy bien, ya que esta comunidad tiene un carisma que le abre las puertas a quien venga, y nosotros fuimos afortunados llegar a esta comunidad porque pues, nos sentimos como en nuestra casa.
So I'm joined now with Bob Bridwell. Bob, you've been in the area for nearly 20 years. What have you kind of seen when it comes to the demographic shift and trend with the Hispanic population?
Back in the late 90s, mid to late 90s, there started to be an influx of Hispanic families into the Sanford and Lee County area and throughout the central North Carolina region. And they started creating an impact on the school system, on St. Stephen's Church, on another variables in the community. And as they came in, we started saying, what is the dynamics here? What is going on? And so we started doing the initial studies and determining how that population was not only affecting the community, but how the community was affecting that population.
Why do you think other communities should care about this issue as well?
It's a lot better to deal with this population and making them a part of the community than it is to just put up a wall and say they're just those other people. So that was probably the early stages of when we started setting the strategy for the longer-term program that we now call Building Integrated Communities.
And what is the impact of that, having that partnership between the municipalities as well as the faith-based community?
We've had the support of the city for a number of things that have taken place in this community. Has been absolutely crucial. They've responded by making sure that the city government, that the county government as well, Lee County, that their communications is user-friendly, that the Hispanic is there for presentations and for information, but also having an understanding of when people come to us for an issue that we are sensitive with their problems and how to deal with them. Our police department here, for instance, is a good example. When they're the subjects of crime, when they're the victims of crime, the police here have adapted to those communities and helped to be responsive to their needs, understanding that the communications may not always be the best. How do we break that down? How do we make them feel more secure in the communities they live in, rather than just saying, oh, that's where the Hispanics live? That's not the way it's done here, and I think we're all very proud of that. I think you're going to hear that from any other city or county official you talk to.
Porque en México, a mí me gusta trabajar, pero en México no había dónde trabajar. Yo trabajaba en agricultura con mi papá, pero no me pagaba.
Number 8, that's a question for everybody here.
As the oldest of 11 children, Ricarda Alvarez moved to the United States to help provide for her family.
Éramos mucho en mi familia. Somos 10 hermanos y allá no hay dónde trabajar para poder comprar comida, para comer, para sobrevivir.
Outside the United States,
She settled in Sanford, but like many immigrants, she struggled with the transition.
Bastantes, porque yo llegué aquí, no tenía papeles para yo poder ir a trabajar y no podía hablar inglés.
Alvarez takes classes here at El Refugio, a program that helps immigrants with any challenges they may face while moving to a new community.
It's a privilege to be in a position that we can make things happen. Some of the challenges that transitional immigrants face as they move here starts with language learning. They first need to adapt themselves with the new language, as the same way they need to learn the new cultures and way of doing things. But learning the new language is first priority for our community to have success in whatever they do.
Thank you. Have a seat, please. Okay.
At El Refugio, there are both English and Spanish classes. The two groups get together once a week to practice what they've learned together.
That's where your children learn from.
We say that our programs help Latino Hispanic communities as they transition to this country, but our goal in general is to bring the whole community together. In the process of teaching languages and having events that people can come together and share, we invite the whole community to come together and spend time together, get to know each other, find the areas that it's in common, and find ways that we can all make a community better.
What do you think, guys?
Yo empecé a ir a clases a una escuela, pero no me agradó. Vine para acá y me gustó porque yo me sentí aquí como si estuviera en familia con los maestros y con mis compañeros de clases.
So, and what is naturalization? What are we doing right now?
El Refugio also offers citizenship classes. The classes prepare legal permanent residents for the naturalization test required to become a U.S. citizen.
And what does the Constitution do?
The first part of the test includes 10 questions about civics and U.S. history. The second part is about reading, writing, and speaking English.
La clase es muy buena. Entiendo muy bien a la maestra. Explica muy bien sus clases. He estado aprendiendo mucho. Palabras que yo no entendía. Porque aparte de las preguntas, ella nos enseña a escribir y a pronunciar, y es muy motivante para mí, y yo soy feliz.
Nice. You're preparing for the civic test.
Sofia Moreno has lived in Sanford for 6 years. She wants to become a citizen so she can vote in the upcoming election.
Aprenderme las respuestas de las guerras, y las leyes de aquí de Estados Unidos. Se me hace un poquito difícil. Sí, me pongo nerviosa pensando que no se me vayan a olvidar las respuestas, pero por eso me quiero preparar bien.
To open up, to improve.
Tanya Mayone became a citizen last July and now teaches El Refugio citizenship class.
They tend to be quite nervous, and it's understandable. Most of them, they don't speak fluent English. I think it's not just a commitment, but it's a status. A status, and I'm talking about immigration status or legal status, is a status as a person. And they feel they belong to this country. What I wanted to do with them is just empower them and believe in themselves, and they can do that.
For her, the most rewarding part of teaching is getting phone calls from students saying they passed the naturalization test and are now U.S. citizens.
It does impact you a lot as a human being in general. Not just because I am an immigrant myself, I'm a U.S. citizen right now, but in general, the fact that these people are able to just fight against everything is unbelievable.
For many students, they look forward to becoming citizens so they can get more involved in the community that's given them an opportunity.
Y pues me gusta mucho trabajar aquí, ¿verdad? Siempre me ha gustado mucho trabajar y espero ser una buena ciudadana aquí en Estados Unidos. Me gusta todo. Me gusta que hay trabajos, te puedes desenvolver en los sueños que tú tengas, te puedes desenvolver aquí.
Yes, wow. And how many judges?
Civic engagement was one of the needs highlighted in Sanford's Building Integrated Communities Plan.
This area still doesn't have Hispanic representation. I personally think that it's time our community is represented in the local government so we can start seeing at least someone out there that is looking for the best interest of our own community.
When we talk about our Hispanic community, it's certainly of the mindset of inclusiveness now. It's not us versus them in terms of how decisions are made. We certainly try to look at those decisions in light of how are all parts of our community engaging and participating in this. And so when we know that 1 out of every 4 of our citizens is of Hispanic origin, and there's no evidence that they've had an opportunity necessarily to become engaged in terms of public discussion and decision making, I think there's certainly a concern there and a need to reach out to that population.
For Alvarez, she takes both English and citizenship classes. For her, it's a way to give back to the community that has helped her make this transition.
Me siento bien porque llegué al primer nivel y luego me pasé a las clases de ciudadanía. Tardé un año allí porque soy muy dura para aprender. Aprendí y fui a hacer me hice ciudadana.
Well, I'm joined now with Hannah Gill. Hannah played a monumental role in helping build out the Building Integrated Communities program. Hannah, give us a little bit of a snapshot of how communities are implementing this process.
Well, we've been working with many local governments across the state since 2010. We've worked with 8 different local governments. And when local government leaders listen to their residents, and when they hear the challenges that they face, and then they try to fix those problems with the guidance of affected communities, it can be really impactful. So to give you an example, in transportation, a lot of North Carolinians face barriers to access to transportation and mobility. And for immigrants, and many immigrants and refugees have particularly difficult issues around mobility because many don't have, they are not able to acquire a driver's license. And in one of the communities we're working with, listening to immigrant and refugee community members describe how they couldn't get to work their night shifts because they didn't have transportation and they were walking along the highway for miles in the middle of the night. And so we're now working with that transit agency to modify the bus routes so that people have a safer way to get back and forth to work again.
Say a community is watching this and they're interested in implementing kind of this strategic framework, where would you recommend they start?
We work with 2 local governments over 3-year periods of time. So we're currently working with Siler City and Chapel Hill. And then we also work on a contract basis with nonprofit organizations and local governments and state agencies on a continual basis. So get in touch with us and we'd love to work with you.
Do you face any challenges or difficulties trying to implement a program like this in any particular communities?
Integral to this process is the participation of North Carolinians that are born abroad. And I think we have to really build trust with many immigrant and refugee communities because of the world we live in today. I think that we have to work really hard to build that trust.
The Building Integrated Communities Initiative has partnered with Chapel Hill, Sanford, Siler City, Greenville, High Point, and Winston-Salem. The Building Integrated Communities Initiative is operated by UNC Chapel Hill's Latino Migration Project. The project awards annual grants to towns and cities that apply. Learn more about how your community can get involved by visiting unctv.org/NC Impact. Coming up on NC Impact.
You're kind of forced to fit in the military, whereas now I'm trying to find my place.
Many veterans in North Carolina struggle when transitioning back to civilian life. Some end up unemployed and in poverty. Tune in to NC Impact to see how Craven County is helping our veterans to get back on their feet.
NC Impact is made possible by funding from Civic Federal Credit Union and is a public media North Carolina production in association with the University of North Carolina School of Government. North Carolina Channel is made possible by the financial contributions of viewers like you who support the UNC TV network.